comrades and friends, we're going to welcome Comrade Max Fernandez. He's going to come talk to you right now.
Comrades and friends! Good night, comrades and friends!
Well, last carnival was a gala fete. One thing in me.
Comrades and friends, good night! Rural North, good night! Call the election now! Call the election! Call the election when? I think you get the message by now. In the history of Antigua, never have we had so much confusion in elections caused by any one leader. That is incompetence. That is why when they say leadership counts, it really does count. That is why in poll after poll, Gaston Brown is the leader of choice for Antiguans and Barbudans. Let me hear it for Gaston Brown and Team Labour. This is Labour Leave Weekend, and yet all these university students returning home and no hope of a proper job. All of these graduates returning home, no hope. This is because the government has wrecked the economy. The economic climate in this country is gone. This has resulted in thousands and thousands of private sector jobs that have been lost. But it also means that there's only one hope for these young people coming back, and that is Gaston Brown and Team Labour. Leadership does count. Businesses in this country are waiting for the elections to be over. They too won't change. They know that Gaston Brown and Team Labour are ready to get to work to revive the economy. Gaston Brown and Team Labour will remove personal income tax and give $40 million back to the people of this country. Let me hear it for us, man. Gaston Brown, Team Labour! Antiguans and Barbudans, prior to the last 10 years, had the highest per capita income in the OECS. And trust me, Labour is going to do that again for us. We can cut that 40 million from the waste in the budget. But in addition, by expanding the economy and creating more private sector jobs, we'll increase revenue. Like the Bahamas and St. Kitts, where there's no personal income tax, their economies outperform all the other islands, including ours. Gaston Brown and Team Labour will unshackle this economy. We'll remove the chains and let the people and the businesses grow. They claim to have spent millions and millions on roads, hundreds of millions. But if you take a drive through St. John's Rural North constituency, you'll wonder where the road's gone, especially since in Yorks, Mount Pleasant and Hodges Bay, the roads there in such bad shape. We intend to invest more in solar and wind energy. It is our plan to be 20% renewable energy by the end of our first term. This will result in lower utility rates for you and low operating costs for businesses. In addition, our street lights must be converted to solar power, again saving you more money. In 2014, water has now become a luxury. Yachts are leaving the dockyard this sailing week because they can't get water. This sailing week is truly a weak one. Just ask the vendors and they will confirm it. What about tourism? It accounts for 70% of our GDP. Yet our Minister of Tourism told both myself and Comrade Leader Gaston Brown that he doesn't care if he loses his seat because he's already won twice. He looking for his pension. Again, comrades and friends, you have to ask, if he doesn't care about his job, how can he care about anybody else's? How can he care about yours? There's still some of us who doubt whether he did win or not in 2009. But don't worry, that was his last go-round. This time around, he's gone from rural north. Let me hear it, man. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John. Of course he can't care. Just look at the signage around the country, destroyed and badly faded. His biggest claim to fame is an overpriced website. Can you imagine that St. Kitts has now overtaken us in cruise ship arrivals? Antigua was way ahead of St. Kitts and the other islands on the label. Not anymore, comrades and friends. We're right down at the bottom of the list. But don't worry, when we get back to government in a few short weeks, once again, Gaston Brown and Team Labour will bring tourism back to where it was on the label. Let me hear it for Team Labour. They brought no new investment in 10 years, not one hotel. Any project built in the last 10 years was negotiated and signed by the previous Labour government. The medical school, the hospital, all of these were brought by the Labour government. We're ready to rebuild, but they refuse to call the election. Let me hear you, man. Call the election when? Comrades and friends, imagine the representative from St. John's Rural North is now coming to ask you to vote for him. School calling! I hear school calling! His record in St. John's Rural North is one of too little, too late, and too lazy. Next to nothing in 10 years, but we must expect the world in 5. Crime is out of control, comrades and friends. We have more neighborhood watch committees in St. John's Rural North than any other constituency in Antigua and Barbuda. But John wouldn't know because he don't attend none of the meetings. That is why they refer to him now as the missing link. You know, there are more persons in St. John's Rural North employed by LIAT than any other constituency in Antigua. The UPP said they signed a deal to keep LIAT here. But now the Minister of Barbados is saying that is not true. They are bringing the headquarters of LIAT and lots of LIAT jobs, hundreds of LIAT jobs over to Barbados. Only one man and one party stood up over a year ago and won this country. Gaston Brown and Team Labour, let me hear it, man. Comrades and friends, there are many speakers tonight, but before I go, I want to confirm, we need leadership that will fight for Antigua and Barbuda. We want Gaston Brown as that leader, and we want Team Labour with him to rescue Antigua and Barbuda. We are ready to rebuild. Let's hear it for Gaston Brown and Team Labour. Until I come again, thank you. Good night.